Hello and welcome to today's video. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know I am a big user of the Traveler's Notebook. I find it a convenient format. I find the colors are beautiful, the leather lovely, and the range of notebooks that come with them to be really great. This is just a couple that I've got with me at the moment. The others are, in another room. I've got about, I think, 8 or 9 Traveler's Notebooks now, so not excessive, but more than I can, use at any one time. I just like the leathers. And a friend of mine recently bought a couple of Traveler's Notebook refills on Temu. Now, you can get complete sort of fakes of the Traveler's Notebook, including all the refills on Temu, on a bunch of those kinds of websites. I have stuck with the real legit Traveler's Notebook here. And I have used this one for a long time. You can see it's all beaten up and scuffed and all that kind of stuff. But I was intrigued. So I ordered a couple of them. So they are labeled as Benstore Design Traveler's Notebook, and there are variations in the full size, or the Traveler's Notebook size, large, and the passport size here, and they are comparable size to the actual real deal. Now, you would have seen, if you've been following my channel, you would have seen a couple of weeks ago I posted a video of some fake field notes notebooks, or sort of copies of the field notes style. And I found those while looking for these. So as I said, I got two. I got the passport in the plain paper and then the full size in the grid paper. So my intention today is not to say we should all be buying these, but I want to see how the paper performs in comparison to the Traveler's Notebook refills, because these are slightly cheaper. They come in like $2 to $3 each, cheaper Australian per notebook for these as the Travelers. The Travelers are really reasonable. Full size, you can get some of the refills for around the 10. Passport size, some of them 7 to 8. So, they're not bad. But if the paper performs well, better than the Travelers, then as a fountain pen user, my allegiance starts to sort of, move over, shall we say. Let's have a look. So I've done a writing sample here in my passport size Traveler's Notebook, and I've done the same writing sample in each of these. So I've used a fountain pen, in this case, the Wingback fountain pen, which is absolutely brilliant. I'll link the review down below, as well as my affiliate discount link in the video description for the Wingback fountain pen. And I've got that inked with Diamine Oxford Blue. I then wrote with a Retro 51, the Lamy Jetstream refill, and then once again, another Wingback. This is the 0.09 mechanical pencil here as well. Okay, so let's check out the pocket here first. Now, to my eye, there's a little bit more sheen on the Traveler's Company notebook, but in terms of shading, they are very similar there in the fountain pen writing. I think the line holds pretty tight on both. There's not a whole lot of spread. There's no feather, nothing like that. And then with the Retro 51, more or less the same. I think the color is a little darker on the Traveler's Company notebook. The Jetstream refill from Lamy is great. And then, of course, the Wingback writes well. I think actually the pencil writes better on this slightly more toothy paper. The Traveler's Company notebook paper is quite smooth. There's a little bit of tooth here on this, but you can see it writes pretty well. Then if we look at the reverse of these pages, the performance is insanely similar. There's a little bit of ghosting happening on both. The Retro 51 rollerball there tries to break through on both, but the fountain pen, nothing, even from that sort of heavier swatch. And then, of course, the ballpoint and the pencil looking great. But the show-through, quite similar there. I think that paper performs pretty well indeed. Now, just comparing the pocket size Benstore Design notebook and the larger one, I think the paper is a slightly different color to my eye. And it feels slightly different as well. Like, there seems to be like a slightly different kind of texture on the page, and I kind of felt that when writing, especially with the pencil. The pencil performed better on this paper than on this paper. Whether that's actually, the reality, I'm not sure. I also think the fountain pen line is a touch tighter here on the pocket size. So they may be using different brands or slightly different batches, obviously, of paper. You've got blank, you've got grid. There are other options as well as a range of sort of different color covers and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a small sort of but nice selection, and to be honest, I think they have a very cool sort of look about them. Like I like that little coffee cup on there. I like the ladybug on there. I think it's a cool look. And then how does that larger one then compare to the actual Traveler's Notebook? Well, once again, same kind of thing. I think there's not as much sheen happening on the Benstore paper. The Retro 51 looks a little darker. The lines are still tight, they're clean, there's a bit of shading happening, that kind of stuff. Both the pencil and the Jetstream refill look good. And then the reverse of this, once again, similar kind of performance, with the exception of a couple of points where the fountain pen is just trying to break through a little bit more. Even a slight bit, that I consider bleeding. That is on the verge of bleeding. Like, it is trying to come through there. So I don't think this paper is quite as good as this paper. And to be honest, I don't think either is as good as the Travelers Company notebook paper anyway. Travelers Company notebook is known for being beautifully fountain pen friendly. It's got a long history of being fountain pen friendly. So what are my thoughts in general? Well, firstly, Temu have a really interesting range of products, and they have some wonderful products. Some of the gel pens and things you can get on Temu are great. The prices are ridiculous. These are slightly cheaper. They have nice sort of rugged covers. They have cool designs. There's a few different color options and paper rule options and all of that kind of stuff. Is it worth changing over from the Travelers Company notebook to the Temu version for the refills? Well, look, if you want to save a couple of dollars and the intensity of the paper quality doesn't necessarily matter to you, then there's no reason why not. After all, there are a bunch of brands who make notebooks, legitimate brands as well, who make notebooks in these sizes and formats. There are makers on Etsy doing special, refills and inserts and things with different, diary lineups and all that kind of stuff. So this is just another brand, and they just happen to be on Temu if you think about it that way. Will I be changing? Probably not. I like to stick with the original for things, but these make a compelling option. As I said, particularly if the quality of the paper, like the minutiae of the quality of the paper, if you will, isn't so important to you. These are interesting. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this video about the Benstore Design branded Temu retailed Travelers Notebook refills. I certainly found them interesting, and I'm looking forward to using these. I will use these. Like, I think they're a good refill, and there's a good amount of pages, and they're stitch bound. It's nice. They're good. I will definitely use them. But I think I've got a trip to Japan coming up where I will definitely be taking legit Travelers Notebook, especially seeing as though I will be visiting the Travelers factory, all that kind of stuff. But for everyday use, there's no reason why these won't be, an easy to use addition within my setup. So please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your notebooks, and I'll talk to you soon.